Hello traders, this is Dave with the Compass Options Live Trading Room, and just going to run through a relatively quick Periscope video for this week. Again, this was a shortened week. We had Thanksgiving on Thursday, half a day on Friday, so there really wasn't much trading going on. Very light volume coming into a last week in November here coming up, going into December where we'll have a Fed meeting, and then we'll have more holidays. We do have this coming Friday, we do have a jobs report that'll have some impact on it. But let's just run through and see where we are over the last couple of months. Again, if we start with our disclaimer, all signals and trading opportunities provided, orally, written, or electronically, are for educational and demonstration purposes only. Trading is very risky, so you should never trade with more money than you can afford to lose. And neither myself or Right Line Trading are licensed financial advisors, so we won't be giving financial advice. All right, so just each week I put some of the more current trades we've had on here, just kind of the ones I can fit on here, but we've done some recent ones. We didn't have very many this week. We'll note that the October-November trades from October 1st to current, we've had 74 wins and 7 losses, so 74 out of 81, which is a 92% win rate, I think 91.8, but very close to what we want to maintain here. We didn't have too much excitement going on here since the last week. We didn't trade that much this week, but we did have a Tesla trade on the 21st for 14%. We took a loss on the BBY time spread, about 61%. Depends, some people got out better than that, but I was trying to be conservative on that. Merck, we did a 19% win rate on that, a 19% win, 56% on Schlumberger on the 21st, and 8% in HD, and another Tesla for 19%. So we had some small trades this week. It was very choppy, couldn't stay in the trades very long, but all in all, a very good record here recently on these trades we've been doing. Again, let's cover the highest probability trade setups again. Again, we're using both the Dominator. I'm using both the Dominator and the Compass system together. So we're looking for the Dominator signal and a background color to align, which I'll show you here further on in the webinar. We're looking for a breakout of dynamic compression zone. We look for Heiken Arch reversal candles. We look for the stock to break out the same direction as the stock's current trend. And again, I repeat this each week. We do not want to be counter trend trading, trying to pick tops and bottoms. We're just looking for stocks to continue in whatever trend they've established so far. So stocks are green moving up, we want to only take long trades. Stocks are red moving down, we only want to take short trades. And we also like the breakout to be the same direction as the current market trend, if there is one. So we want to actually be trading with the market. If the market is choppy, then we would lean on the stocks. But again, if we've got our market internals on the Dominator system all green, that tells us that the market at that point is bullish, and we would be looking for bullish trades. We also want the Compass system to line up on the direction that we're looking to trade a particular stock. So that would mean that the current time frame LIQUIDITY or the momentum would be blue or green for bullish and red or yellow for bearish. And also we want the multi-time frame LIQUIDITY, which is the momentum for the stock over the recent time frames, 3 different time frames. We want that also to be matching our trade direction. We'd also like to see the Bollinger Band width expanding. Anything breaking out of dynamic compression will likely have the Bollinger Band width expanding, just telling us that we're coming out of a compression. You want to select stocks that have relative strength weakness versus the SPY. Obviously, stocks that are stronger than the SPY would be good trades for the long side, and stocks weaker than the SPY would be good trades for short trades. Also, if it's going to be a swing trade or maybe a swing trade, you want the daily chart to match the trade direction as well. So you'd want the daily chart to be bullish if you were trading long and bearish if you're trading short. If we get a pop out of the box signal, that adds conviction to the trade. And the key thing is always have patience. We look for the highest probability trade setups. We only want to trade the best and skip the rest, and that's what our trading methodology is. All right, and we'll just run through some of the ones that I keep each week just to identify these. Sometimes we get a lot of new people, and we kind of want to show you what we're looking for here. Here is a trade on Zillow, where we have compression. You see these 3 candles compressing, followed by the a bearish candle right here with a pop out of the box signal. That's what this blue arrow is. It tells you that you're breaking compression to the downside. You could enter the trade here and write it down. And you notice as the candles get smaller and smaller, down here you would probably, we did exit right here, but there's not an awful lot of downward momentum right here like we had on these candles right here. So that would be an exit. But again, notice that the compass system is completely red on this particular trade. This is the pink is the VWAP, the volume weighted average price. We typically only want to trade stocks short below the VWAP and only trade stocks long above the VWAP. This is Oxy. This is a daily chart on Oxy. Again, you see this breakout here out of a dynamic compression zone. This shaded area is a dynamic compression zone. Stock's compressing, pops out on the daily chart. Compass system's all green across the board, telling us that the institutions are in there buying. And it would be a good long trade, which we took the next day, and we basically followed our strategy. We were waiting for everything to line up with green or blue, and we wait for a pop out of dynamic compression right here, and then we take the trade up to the upside and exit up here as the stock, you can see, starts to lose some of its momentum. But notice it was green across the board on the compass system, telling us that the institutions are in there buying. Tesla, this was the one I like to show each week. This is a dynamic compression zone on Tesla. This is a 5-minute chart. You notice that we have these acceleration dots, these green dots in the middle of the candlesticks. Those are acceleration dots which tell us that the Laguerre time frame, or the momentum that we're getting, the institutions are buying as much as we can possibly measure on this. In other words, the Laguerre only goes to 100, and this tells us that we are at 100. We're pegged at the highest we can get, and you can see that the time frames here, all the time frames, all of the compass systems indicators are all green. So we would get in right here as it breaks out, and these candlestick formations, by the way, are Hibonacci. Just to show you what a Hibonacci candle look like. Hibonacci candle, as long as you have flat bottoms on it, you have a trend to the upside. Flat tops would be a trend to the downside. So this trend right here is when you could get in as it breaks out. Follow it right up. You notice that it's following the 15 EMA right up, and these trend dots are green and it's following it right up. And then you get up here and you start to get wicks and tails on the candlestick. The Hibonacci candlestick be a good place to consider taking profits. This is the SPY. This is a little bit of a different chart than what we usually see. This one is, I only just put this up to show you what Bollinger Band expansion looks like. This is Bollinger Bandwidth right here. And the Bollinger Bandwidth, as the stock breaks down, here's the SPY. You notice we go from a wick and a tail to a flat top. That's a Hibonacci reversal right there. We have a pop out of the box signal, and our our Bollinger Bandwidth is starting to expand. These bars that you see right here are showing expansion of the Bollinger Bandwidth, and we would just ride this right down short. We get in here, ride it down short. Notice that the Laguerre here goes from green to yellow, which is bearish, and goes to red, which is very bearish. Stock moves down, and once you get down here and it starts flattening out a little bit, you get much smaller candles. You notice the bandwidth is starting to shrink again, which tells you you're going into compression, and that was where you would get out of it. And this is another SPY trade right here, coming out of a dynamic compression. And here's the pop out of the box signal. Notice this is a 5-minute chart. We're falling below the VWAP right here. This pink line is a VWAP. We fall below the VWAP. We go ahead and jump in right here as a short, and we ride it down. And notice you got big candles, and then they start to get smaller and smaller. Momentum is fading, and you would want to exit right in here. You don't want to stay in this trade as because you've got a profit in it as the candlesticks start to get small. And you notice everything was yellow or red here. So we had a bearish setup across the board on compass. And notice as the candlesticks get smaller, we've got a little bit of buying starting to come in, institutional buying starting to come in on the SPY. So for your short, you would want to be out of it before that happens. This is Meta. This is a trade we took, and this trade was we took an overnight trade. This is a daily chart on Meta. You notice the big candlestick here breaking out of dynamic compression zone. This is a daily dynamic compression zone. These dynamic compression zones will be on the 5 and on the daily. So this is a breakout of a dynamic compression zone. We moved down to the VWAP. We took this overnight. This VWAP, by the way, is not effective on daily charts. It's only effective on 5-minute, 15-minute charts. Time frames you would use for intraday trading. And so when we broke down here, we took this overnight and wrote it down for a couple days, and then took profits, I think, right in here, which we probably could have stayed in a little longer, but we did take profits on that. It was a nice profit. A, B, and B. This also is one that you can see we had a big downturn in A, B, and B. You can write it down, but also you notice we started to get some green and red here, so we green and blue here, so we want to get out. But basically, we took this short right here as it fell down. This was the earnings, and as it fell down, everything went red or yellow, so we entered right here. So that's the daily chart we're looking at right here. And this was a meta trade that we actually took long, and this was the daily chart on meta after we had that meta short. But you notice how it turned around here, and we took this intraday. So I'll show you that in just a second. We took this intraday as the current time frame, or the daily time frame with gear. The momentum switched to green. And here this was CrowdStrike. This was another one we took short. And again, you can see you've got yellow and red across the board here. Here's your dynamic compression zone. Here is the breakdown on the out of the dynamic compression zone to the downside, and we just write it down. And then of course we get out well before this. This was an intraday trade we took, but this is a daily chart just to show you the move to the downside and how the compass system was telling us that the institutions are in here selling all the way down through this period. IBM, we had a nice long trade in IBM. Again, dynamic compression zone, breaking out of dynamic compression right here. Everything is blue or green. Compass system telling you that the institutions are in there buying. And then we took this overnight, by the way. We get into this, took it overnight and got out right here on the next day. Lucid was one we took short. Again, this is a daily chart on Lucid. You can see you've got yellow Laguerre, multi-time frame, current Laguerre time frame went yellow right here in this candlestick. We just took it overnight for a quick gain and out on this. It was right after earnings. A QSR, another nice daily chart. And just want to point out, you can see the compression here. You see the stock moving sideways, then a gap up here, and then a continuation to the upside, which we took advantage of as the Laguerre system, as the Laguerre momentum went green and blue right here. And this was our QSR trade on the 5-minute, based on, in other words, we based it off of here. We said this is a good daily setup. Let's intraday trade it. We intraday traded it, and again, you can see the move through here where it's just compressing. And right here on this candlestick, everything went green on the gear, and the stock started to move up, and you could just follow it right up. Just traded it right up here. Everything straight, stayed green all the way up. And then we get a yellow move right here. We start to get flattening candles. We exit here based on the momentum starting to fade. But again, that was an intraday trade, and the compass system was showing us that the institutions are in there buying. Now, I want to show this. This is QSR that we took on the compass system, but I also want you to see it on the dominated system. This is using market internals, and you notice that when we traded this long, you can see we have it traded long right here. When we traded this long, we also wanted to make sure that the market internals were green on that, and as the stock started to move up, and you see it started to move up here, and the market internals are kind of mixed. And then once we started getting buy signals on it right here, because the market internals were green, what we're looking to do on these situations is we want the background to match what the compass system is doing. So if the compass system is green, like it was right here, then we want the background over here to be dark green, telling us that the current time frame or the multi-time frame trend on this particular stock, being QSR, is bullish. Then we want these dominator internals to either be neutral or green when we want to get into it. We could buy it here because the market internals weren't all red. They were green and red mixed, but the stock was strong. If we want to be even safer, we can wait until we get buy signals on it, which are these green arrows. Now the green arrows are telling us that not only do we have a stock that's got multi-time frame trend to the upside, but it's also telling us now the market internals have turned extremely bullish. And the internals are telling us that the number of stocks moving up on up volume and upticks is far outnumbers the stocks moving down on down volume and down ticks, and it becomes a bullish trade. But what you want to do when you see, for example, this kind of a move on QSR on the dominator system, you want to go back and you want to take a look at your compass system and want to make sure that your entry is somewhere near a support level, like for example this 15 EMA or off of the VWAP, something where you're close to a support level to get into the trade. Because you wouldn't want to be trading it up here off of this 15 because you're so far away from the 15. But if you go back to the compass system, you're going to see that there's the 15 here is much closer to it, and you could have traded it right from here because you had a green background on the dominator system, and you did not have any sell signals taking place. It might have been neutral, but it wasn't any sell signals. So it's very important to get into these trades at a level that's close to your support, so that you have a very limited downside risk. So that's QSR right there. This is the SPY on the dominator system, just showing that we have black background here. Black background tells you that it's neutral. There is no trend to this trade. Then when you go to the pink, the light pink and the dark pink, it's bearish. And you could make a trade right here. You see this SPY is coming right off the 15. This is the 15 EMA. It's coming right through the 15 EMA with a sell signal, which means that the majority of your stocks are moving down on down volume and down ticks versus moving up on up volume and up ticks. And there's enough of a disparity in the number of stocks moving down versus stocks moving up to create this sell arrow right here. So you could get in on that sell arrow and ride this down for 3 or 4 candles, and you most likely take profits right here. As you start to get these green candles, and on a choppy day, you want to be getting out as soon as you can and take your profits, because the stocks will bounce around quite a lot. And again, this is again, I think this is a SPY on upside, and notice how green everything is here. This is all the compass, the dominator system giving us full green on here, and here's a buy signal right here. This blue, light blue, is really a light green. This is bullish, but not tremendously bullish, but bullish, and this is very, very bullish. And you could have stayed in this trade from here for a good long time, or you could have waited until you got a solid green over here, and then went ahead and bought here, or somewhere off of a support level on the compass system, and just rode this thing up. And you know, on choppy days, when you get in, for example, down in here, you take profits when you get up around here. You don't want to give it back. And then you could have re-entered here again and then traded it all the way up. But you see how long these green arrows existed, because the dominator system was telling us that the market internals were bullish all the way through basically the whole day. Here's Netflix, same thing. Got green over here, and we've got the dominator system giving us buy signals all over the place on this. You just want to use your compass system to identify that also matches up with green momentum, and it also has an entry point for you somewhere near a support or resistance level. So I just wanted you to see those systems. If you haven't seen them, be familiar with the 2 different systems and what they're telling us. This is just the weekly SPY, the last week's SPY. This is the daily chart of the SPY showing where we are right now, and we've been in a bearish market for the whole year, but we've had bear market rallies. We've been in a bear market rally here for a few weeks, and you notice right here that we've moved up very close to the 200-day moving average. This becomes a very strong resistance. We get up to it over here back in August and hit it, and then rolled over and started down again. So we get to a new low for the year, and then we bounce back up again. So we're waiting to see if we get through this 200. We're getting, basically, we've been getting lower lows and lower highs, which is the definition of a downtrending market, and that's where we still are until we get through this 200, or we put in a higher low and then get above this 200-day moving average with a higher high around here. Then we do not have we don't have an end to the bear market yet. All right, so just talk about the Compass Dominator combo. And again, I put out a video on trading SPY super strategy, trading the SPY off of the Compass and Dominator system combination. But you can trade stocks basically the same way. So what we're looking at is the Compass Dominator combination. So for bullish on the Dominator, you would have a background that's green, either light green or dark green, and you would have a Dominator buy signal. On bearish, you would have a Dominator background red or pink, and a Dominator sell signal. So that tells you that you can trade that stock, and you've got the market internals behind you. If that lines up, and the Compass system also is in conjunction with that. In other words, if you were bullish, the Compass system would be green or blue. In bearish, it would be red or yellow. Then you can take a little bit of larger size on the trades, perhaps stay in the trades a little bit longer, because you've got the market internals and the Compass system combined. Now you want to take into consideration the market always. If the market is choppy for the day, then you want to take your profits much more quickly. If it's trending for the day, then you can basically ride it a little bit longer. Perhaps you can withstand some pullbacks. But choppy market, you want to get out as soon as you can. And the best entry levels for trades for when the Dominator aligns is either the 15 EMA on the Dominator or the bouncing off the 15 EMA off on the Compass, bouncing off the VWAP on the Compass, bouncing off the white pivot point if there's a white pivot point line in there, or breaking out of dynamic compression. And even pop out of the box signals, breaking out of a compression. You want to get into a trade long as it breaks above the latest compression, so that you have a valid stop point for that trade. All right, and again, this is something, put credit spreads. You can look at this. I have videos on all of these right here. I have a video on using debit spreads for prize profitable day trades, and I have a post on Fibonacci candles, and I have a video library that you can go to, which I've got a lot of videos out there now. I just did one on the SPY super strategy, which basically identifies how to use the Compass system and the Dominator system in conjunction with each other to take SPY trades. And here's some of the stocks I'm watching for Monday. These are the bullish entries: SMCI, WWE, ELF, TJX, Orly, Coupa Software, and First Solar for longs, Mara for shorts, Pcor, Alarm, Lucid, and NVAX. These are the ones that I'm looking at short. Right now, as I'm watching this is about a little after midnight on Sunday night. The futures market is open and going. The Qs are down about 108, and the SPY is down about 30. So as of right now, we have a bearish view of the market for the morning, but we'll see what happens when we get there. And again, when you take any of these trades that are set up from the previous night, you want to look for long entries to break over Friday's high with a high probability trade setup, and look for shorts to break below Friday's low with a high probability trade setup. Those are the criteria that you want to use. You want to make sure it's breaking above the previous day high or below the previous day's low, and you want to try to take trades that are trading with the market trend. So if we have bearish market in the morning and it's trending bearishly, then our highest probability trades are going to come on the short side. So again, that's it for this week. I just wanted to kind of cover a lot of the. I didn't add a lot of new content there. I just wanted to go over a lot of the criteria that we use for the highest probability trade setups, and how to use the Dominator system in conjunction with the Compass system, because it's so powerful to use that. And again, these are the two best pieces of software you'll ever find to find. The Compass system is telling us what the institutions are doing, whether they're buying a stock, selling a stock, or not in the stock at all, so that we can follow them. And then we have the market internals, or the Dominator system, which is looking at stocks moving up on up volume and upticks, versus stocks moving down on down volume and down ticks, the number of those. And when the stocks moving either up or down have a significant disparity between the opposite direction. So if we have 600 stocks moving up and 75 stocks moving down, we're going to start to get buy signals on the dominator system telling us that the market internals are bullish, and vice versa for the bearish. So again, two powerful systems that can be used in conjunction with each other to find the highest probability trade setups. And again, we're shooting for a 90% win rate or a little bit more, and that's what we've been able to do even in this choppy bear market all year long. Been very, very difficult trading environment, but the system is keeping us doing extremely well. So again, thanks very much for listening to this. I hope to see everybody in the room on Monday morning, and we're going to make some more money. Have a great weekend.